Hello everybody, it's Tim again, here another movie review, this time for the film Wicked. Now this is a little bit off like my beaten track, only in the sense that I usually review like horror flicks or even action movies. I don't really review that many musicals. I don't really think, maybe I've done one other one, possibly Sweeney Todd. But just to jump into this film, I'll say that it was good. I'd give it a 3 out of 4. It is not a great movie. It is a good musical movie, and it is part one of two, which I don't really think the movie advertised much. And even when it's over, it kind of ends as like kind of like to be continued or whatever. So I'm not even sure when part two comes out. No, this is based off, I believe, like a stage play. I've seen the original Wizard of Oz. I've seen Return to Oz, which is underrated. I've seen Oz the Great and Powerful. I actually did like all three of those films. I even saw, I believe, like a show about Oz or set in Oz with Zoe Deschanel in it or something like that. That used to come on Sci-Fi Channel. Maybe been called The Tin Man. I didn't even mind that one, even though Zoe Deschanel was not that good in it acting wise. Overall, I did like that adaptation as well. This is not great. Like, I think maybe part of my problem is I went into this expecting like something like really amazing, because fans of the the musical or whatever were like hyping this, the stage musical, I guess, we're hyping this up online to be like the greatest thing ever and like greatest musical ever. And I watched this and I'm like, guys, this is good, but this is not great. There's some obviously clunky writing going on in this. You got like the Wicked Witch before she's the Wicked Witch is an origin story, and it's like this black chick who's playing the green chick, who eventually turns into the Wicked Witch. And I will say she does do a great job acting wise. She is the best performance in the movie. And throughout the movie, she does do good. And you get the idea that her dad is kind of like ashamed of her and looks down on her, cares more about his daughter that's in a wheelchair, um, because of the fact that she's green. And that just kind of, right off the bat, that kind of made me feel weird. And when she goes to like this school or whatever to like learn magic, everybody there's like, oh, it's you, you're green. And I was like, for the first almost like half of the movie, I was like, why do these people care that she's green? Like, you exist in a universe where there's fucking munchkins walking around and there's like talking animals. Why do you care that she's green? Why is her being green like that big of a shock? Like, for the first half of the movie, it really doesn't explain that. And then through part of the other, about after the first half, it does start to delve into that more of why she's more of like an oddball or whatever to everybody else, because they kind of, a lot of them look down on like the talking animals too and don't really like them either and want to kind of like lock them up and cage them up and everything too. So there is kind of like a lot of discrimination going on in Oz, but I didn't know that for like most of the first half of the movie until it got to there. And I will say this movie is a bit too long. I'm not really sure this even needed to be two parts. I'm pretty sure you could have just like cut the fat out of this. Like, I don't know what they're going to do in part two. I don't know shit about the actual musical. So maybe it does need to be two parts. I don't know. But I just feel like this could have easily just been like 1 2.5 hour movie or something. As it is, it comes off too long. And I feel like you could have cut some fat out of this. Um, but so it does kind of make more sense why they feel weird around her, or awkward about her being green or whatever. And I do kind of like the idea of like it kind of being a metaphor for like racism and stuff like that, and bigotry with her being green. Cause the chick who Ariana Grande is in this, she does good singing wise. Her character's a bit vapid though. She's supposed to play the chick who winds up being Glinda the Good Witch eventually, and Glinda's just kind of a bitch in this. She's like really vapid and like just like, the word's not dumb. Uh, uh, I'm trying to think of what it would be to call her. Not so much naive, I guess just vapid and airhead. She just comes off like an airhead. She's just like completely self-absorbed, like, I'm perfect. Ah ha ha ha. It's like, I, I did not really like this character. And then partway, and she's kind of a bitch too. And just the way she acts like towards the green chick who's going to turn to be the Wicked Witch, where she's like, have I learned magic? I can fix your skin. And she's like, I don't want to fix my skin. I like who I am. I accept who I am. And then Glinda's just like she doesn't get it. It's like I do kind of like how it's a metaphor for like racism and stuff like that. That it's not a bad idea. Later on through the movie, they do start to become more friendly with each other. When you get to a point where, um, she like Ariana Grande like tries to embarrass her by giving her this hat, trying to tell her that she'll look great in it or whatever. But really, she's trying to embarrass her. And then she finds out that the green chick actually like got her got her teacher to like give her a wand, because the green chick, you know, the one who ends up being the Wicked Witch, she has actual magic, where nobody else really seems to be able to do shit, including Glinda. So she's able to do like actual magic, and so that impresses like the teacher there, who's like Michelle Yeoh, and you got Jeff Goldblum, who winds up being the wizard at the end. And if you know anything about the Wizard of Oz story, you know the wizard really has no power, so you know they're going to get to that. And I will say the acting in this film, for the most part, is fine. And you got this one dude who's the prince, who's kind of like the love interest for Ariana Grande, but you get the idea that he really has a crush on, you know, the green girl. So yeah, and that's like the thing in the movie, like she shows up there with a hat on and everything, and then Glinda kind of regrets pulling that trick on her because she sees that she got the teacher like give her a magic wand in like, as like a gift to her to like repair for her giving her the hat because she's just naturally a nice person. And after that, she like jumps in there and starts dancing with her or whatever. Even though the green girl is kind of, they're treating her like she's an embarrassment because she's wearing a stupid like standard witch hat or whatever, which actually does look good on her. And so she jumps in there and like starts dancing with her or whatever. But I get it that they're trying to say that she felt bad about what she did because, the girl was also kind to her. But at the same time, it just kind of makes me feel like she's just pitying her. Like she doesn't really, she really only wants to be her friend out of pity because she really doesn't know her. And granted, she gets to know her after that. But at the same time, I'm just like, do I still really like this? Do I really like this character? I mean, even after they become closer or whatever, it's almost like the movie just kind of jumps straight into it. And right after they start to become closer and start to talk after that incident, it's just like they're just automatic best friends. Like it just hits. Like 30 seconds later, like literally, they're just automatic best friends. It's just there, just best friends automatically, out of the blue, just automatically. It just completely rushes into it. Like I was like, what? It did move too fast there. And the other thing is that Glinda's character, even when they start to become more friendly with each other, she still seems airheaded. Like she doesn't like the people are coming there to like take away this goat teacher or whatever who's like really friendly and nice, and he's a talking animal, and they want to like lock him up. They're like discriminating against him, obviously. And of course, the chick who ends up becoming the Wicked Witch is like, no, you can't do this. And then Glinda's like, it's for the best or whatever. It's like, you're a moron. No wonder the prince that you're crushing on doesn't really like you and wants to be with the green chick. I don't blame him. And it's like, what? And then eventually she gets an invitation to like go see the wizard, and she's heading there to see the wizard, and Ariana Grande's out there, and she goes, come with me. She grabs Ariana Grande's hand, pulls her on board the train so they can go together. And I'm like, why? Like, what do you even care about this girl? I mean, yeah, granted, she danced with you so you wouldn't feel, super embarrassed where she was trying to make up for what she did wrong. But is that it? Like, after that, literally, you become, like, best friends? I don't really get that. Like, it would make more sense for the green girl to go, like, I want the prince to come with me. Like, why does she care this much about Ariana Grande? I don't really get it. Like, they become, like, really close, like, really fast. And then once it gets to the end, they go and meet Jeff Goldblum. You find that he has no power, and pretty much Michelle Yeoh, has been planning this whole thing because, it's like the green girl is going to be the prophesized one who can read from this grimoire magic book to be able to give the monkeys wings and shit so they can fly through the sky as troops and spy on the animals and stuff like that, the talking animals, so they can basically create a new Oz. And it's like, well, you've basically just made the wizard a dick. And I'm sure in like part 2 or whatever, by the end, maybe the wizard will like change his mind and realize the error of his ways or some shit. But so she makes the wings appear on the monkeys, and it's painful when it happens, and then she regrets it and wants to undo it. But you can't undo any spell from the book apparently. And it is kind of cool though that they do have like an origin thing thrown in here for where the flying monkeys come from. And so after that, she's like running away, and even after that, like Ariana Grande is like, we shouldn't do this. We should just do what the wizard and Michelle Yeoh says. And even at that point, I was like, you're stupid. And then they get ready to like, she finds a broomstick pretty much. She's gonna fly away, and they save like the big musical number finish for the ending here, for the final scene where they want to throw in like a climactic, one-off song at the end here or whatever to end the movie with. And as she's like flying through the air, Ariana Grande gets captured by the guards at the Emerald Palace or whatever. And she's flying through the air, and she's sitting there on her broomstick, and she like flies off with the monkeys as she's like singing, whatever, epically. And Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh are like looking up in the sky at her, and she flies off, and then it just ends. It's like, to be continued. Yeah, it did go out in a bit of an epic way. I did kind of like the ending with the flying monkeys going with her and all that. Of course, foreshadowing eventually that the flying monkeys are going to be on her side. And obviously, by the end of part 2, we're going to get it to where she becomes like pure evil and psychotic by the end or whatever, for whatever reason. Another thing is that this witch's weakness is water, and throughout the movie she does cry multiple times, but it doesn't burn her or anything. And there's even like a joke, it's kind of like an in-joke about it later. It's getting ready to rain, and Michelle Yeoh like puts an umbrella up over her and is like, we don't want you to get wet. And it's like, oh, okay. I don't know how the musical is. Maybe it's even different from what eventually happens with the Wicked Witch. I don't know, because the way this movie does start out is after the Wicked Witch is dead, and then the story we're being told is like a flashback story, pretty much by Ariana Grande's memories, I suppose. And And so I'm just leaving hanging with some more questions than answers, really, and certain stuff because I don't know the musical. But overall, as a musical, this was fine. It was good. It's a 3 out of 4. It's a good movie. It's not anything mind blowing. Would I watch this again? No. Um, do I think this is bad? No. There's some clunky storytelling. Ariana Grande's character isn't. It's not really that likable, even when she turns to be a better person. Um, but the chick who plays like the one who's going to become the Wicked Witch, who I actually forgot her character's name because they do say the name in here of what her name really is, not just the Wicked Witch. But she is great in the movie. She does do a really good job. I know there's that whole thing where she like went off about a poster. That was stupid. But in terms of just her acting in this, she does do a really good job. She is great in the film and easily the strongest performance. Granted, she gets the most to chew on. This movie could have easily been shorter and condensed, but as it is, this is a 3 out of 4. This is a good musical. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.